This is Mike Brewer behind the wheel. Automotive news, automotive advice, and tyre smoking fun. Join me, the Brit with the wit, and my car-loving co-host, Brad Fanshaw. Hello everyone, it's Mike Brewer behind the wheel, and I'm looking forward to taking you on a journey of motoring, expertise, fun, facts, and all the stuff that we embrace ourselves with, this wonderful hobby that we love, the classic car and motoring world. Now, together, we are going to go down this journey, but the man who always grabs the passenger door, and I do like travelling with him because he's always got the best snacks, he always shouts shotgun whenever I'm hitting the road, is my passenger, and he seems very willing. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Brad Fanshaw.
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
I'm all right, Brad. Yeah, ready for the journey?
I am. I'm always looking forward to these because you take us to the best places.
Anyway, let's hit the road.
Let's go.
Hello everyone, it's Mike, and we are very excited because today we're on a real road, driving a real car, and my wingman beside me as always is Mr. Brad Fanshaw, and me and Brad are kind of excited because this is real. We're in a real world, and outside is a beautiful road. It's got lovely scenery, and we've got the coastline on our left-hand side, and we've got the city on our right-hand side. And it's lovely as we're driving along the road. Very nice. But if me and Brad wanted to switch things up a little, and we wanted to experience what it would be like to drive, I don't know, on one of the most famous racetracks in the world, or we wanted a quick visit to the English countryside, or we wanted to go race around the streets of Moscow, we can do that today in a virtual world.
And the virtual world has gotten almost better than the real world because you can go as fast as you want and not worry about it.
And it's crazy. Look, what we're talking about here, me and Brad, is we're going to be talking about computer games. There's a new computer game coming up on the horizon. Got a few things to talk about, actually. We're going to be talking about Formula E racing coming to Switzerland. That's going to be good. We're also going to be talking about Lewis Hamilton. Got jailed.
I know. Did you hear about that?
Driving like a lunatic.
Like a lunatic, they said.
That's what they said. Brilliant news. Honda are bringing back 2 iconic bikes, which we're very excited about. And then there's that new Porsche Speedster concept that's been revealed, and we'll talk about that as well. But first of all, if me and Brad, we wanted to take, I don't know, we're quite lucky, me and Brad, so we get to drive all kinds of flash cars. But if we wanted to drive, I don't know, that beautiful McLaren 720S, and me and you wanted to take it for a little jaunt around the English countryside.
And drive it like we stole it?
Drive it like we stole it. Yeah, you would get arrested for that.
Yeah.
You would.
And then they'd crush it like I see in the videos where they pick them apart.
Yeah, pick them apart and rip them apart. What me and you can do, though, is we can go to a computer games console, and let's face it, most homes have got a computer games console of one or another, either PlayStation or Xbox, and you can go and race in this virtual world. Now, I have been a fan since the very first generation of Forza Motorsport.
Yes.
I did the advert, I did the commercial for Forza Motorsport for Microsoft, the original one.
Well, then why aren't they inviting? They have these big parties where they have all the great cars. Do you know that Porsche actually introduced one of their new cars for the very first time?
Yeah, in the game.
In the game and at the Consumer Electronics first time ever.
I know, in the game. It's amazing. We're going to get people talking about it like us.
Yeah.
So I've been a fan of Forza. Forza is always, it just looks great. The world that they create looks like a real world. The cars handle beautifully. They have lots of consultants down from the manufacturer come down to the computer games company, and they sit with them, and they sit in these virtual cars and they drive them until they tune them exactly right in the computer game to what they feel like. I have got one of those little racing seats at home that I sit in on a computer game console.
You do?
Yeah. I haven't done it for years, I'll be honest with you. Work has taken over.
Yes.
So I don't get any time to play on a computer games console. But I haven't even got one here. But do you know what? I might go and buy one just for this game that's coming up alone, because the trailer for the game looks fan-bloomin-tastic, and it's Forza Horizon 4 that's coming out, and it looks like a really exciting world that you can just go and throw yourself into when you're just looking to cool the jets, chill the beans, sit on a couch, do nothing, pull up a computer game like this, and you can go and race any kind of car.
What gets you the most excited about this one, though? Is it where you get to race?
Yeah, I mean, you get to race the little trailer. You get to race around the English countryside, and there's a great little spot on the trailer where this McLaren goes sideways out of a turning past a tractor, and then past some sheep in a field, and it just looks amazing. It really does.
They do such a job. I mean, I was at Adam Carolla's shop when they were doing one of his cars, and they get, very, very picky. They do all the points, but even down to there was a boost gauge that wasn't operational. They sent another crew out when they got it fixed so that they could make sure that boost gauge kicked in exactly where it does in real life on the real car.
Really? So Adam Carolla's got a car and a computer game?
He's got several of them now.
Has he really?
Several of his cars are in the Forza games.
That's fantastic.
I know.
I've been in a computer game.
You have?
Yeah.
In what?
It's a game called Colin McRae's Rally.
Okay.
Which was a fantastic rally game, and they asked me to go along and do a visit to their studios, and I went along and I looked at them code in the game and see some early models of it, and then they stood me outside in the car park, and they took pictures of me all the way round, and then they digitised me as a member of the crowd. So whenever
really?
So and I'm in the
That's
crowd
cool.
everywhere. So every time you on one stage of the rally, there could be 15 crowds at certain sections of the stage, and every time I would crash the car or pull over and look in the crowd, and there's me standing there, my green Parker, my sort of moddy Parker, standing there, sort of waving as the rally cars go by.
So it's actually like the video game mimics real life because Mike's at every car event there's at, so you're always in the crowd.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
I went to some car events this weekend. It was really good. I did the Balboa car show on Sunday morning, but I also did an auction. I'm not going to name the auction, but I did an auction on Saturday, and I went along. I'm actually hosting an auction that's coming up. I'm really excited, Brad. I haven't told you the news.
Well, you mentioned it, but go ahead and bring it up again.
Barrett
That's
Jackson.
Right.
Yeah, Craig Jackson's on the phone and asked me if I'll come up, and I will host Barrett Jackson, Connecticut. It's called Mohican Sun.
Yeah, that's a big area up there.
A big area, big auction. 4 days, it's going to be amazing. And it's live on Discovery Networks across the globe, and I'm hosting the show.
Now, I'm going to talk about it right now. I'm going to put you on the spot. Let's get you to do a podcast from up there. Give us like a daily report. Would that work?
Oh, it sounds so good.
That'd be cool.
What we need to do is to negotiate with my lovely wife, Michelle, and make sure that she's listening, make sure that I do a daily podcast review at the end of each day at Barrett Jackson, tie them all together, and let's turn it into a podcast. Yeah, and a little video.
You do some photos
and videos. Let's do that.
Yeah.
I'll do that. Yeah, I'd love to. I'll give you a day's report telling you what was hot, what was not, how the market's shifting, how the market's moving. That'd be exciting. Yeah, really.
Or we can call Craig and say, hey, Craig, we need a plane ticket for Brad.
Why don't we do that? It's only Connecticut.
So, yeah.
It's nothing.
Express flight back there.
Do you think Craig flies his own jet up there?
No, he flies commercial quite a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I've known him to fly some private jets, but he's man.
I was only saying because he could give me a lift.
Takes his coach a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe he's going to drive his coach back there.
He does. He loves his coach.
Yeah, he does.
Him and Carolyn, they love getting out on that thing. Right, so virtual world. So you could be in this virtual world racing a car, which is amazing. And look that trailer up for Forza Horizon 4. Please go and look it up. Then I'm convinced that if not this iteration of Forza, in the next iteration of Forza, they're also going to have a race circuit in Switzerland that you'll be able to race around.
Yeah, and I think Forza we need to reach out to them seriously, because when they launch this, I think Mike Brewer needs to be the first one to drive through the British countryside.
Unbelievably so.
Yes.
Unbelievably. And the plug we've just given you for free
on
our podcast means that, they should send us at least a game and a console.
And then
have it here. So we can have it here. Look.
Exactly. We could be doing it right here in the studio.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant, wouldn't it? That'd be really good.
Incredible.
And if they did want to build a virtual world and go racing again in Switzerland, now would be an apt time, because did you know Switzerland had banned motor racing? Did you know that?
I didn't. This was news to me. When we were reading these notes for the show, I was like, what do you mean they? Now, I know, I mean, you and I have both been to Switzerland quite often, and it's not, it's not one of those vast countries. So I just figured, well, there was never anything there just because, the streets are narrow, everything like that. But they banned it.
Yeah, they banned it in 1955 after the Le Mans disaster. Unfortunately, 83 spectators, poor souls, lost their lives. 180 more were injured. And it was deemed reckless and irresponsible. So the Swiss government refused that any kind of catastrophe like that to take place on its soil ever again. So they said, no more motor racing.
And it sounds very much like the Swiss, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. But Swiss, land is it's. Right, so that was a disaster, and that happened, right, many, many, many years ago, over half a century ago. But now they're bringing it back. But you have to think, the Swiss they're the only country in the world that make chocolate that hurts. They make chocolate. Chocolate's good. I like chocolate. But they make chocolate that hurts. They make this bar of chocolate called a Toblerone.
Yes.
And it's a triangular piece of chocolate. Have you ever tried to eat one without it damaging your mouth in one way, shape, or form?
You have to take little nibbles. You can't take a big bite.
Because if you took a bite, it rips your top of your mouth off, your gums open. It cracks your teeth. It's chocolate that hurts.
Now, see, I thought you meant because when you go there, they have all those fabulous chocolate shops, and I thought it meant it hurts because it always hurts my waistline when I leave there because it's fantastic.
Yeah, it is. Amazing place. But listen, good news, Switzerland, because you're going to get motor racing back. You're getting it back in Zurich. And you're going to get not any kind of motor racing. You're going to get the quietest form of motor racing out there. It's wonderful to watch.
Formula
It's Formula E.
But, oh my gosh, can you imagine watching those cars race along Lake Zurich?
It's going to be amazing.
Oh.
Have you seen the autonomous Formula E car?
Yeah.
They got an autonomous one. It races all by itself.
And it's amazing.
It's amazing. It's as quicker than a driver, I think, or something.
I understand from what I read was that it's a little slow through the real tight S-turns because the computer's over-evaluating, they said.
Right.
So.
But, yeah, amazing, eh? How cool is that?
It's amazing.
So it's that we are moving into a world, aren't we? You think about our utopian future. We're going to be moving into a world where, Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel and people like that are just going to be sat behind a computer games console.
Yeah.
And out there on the circuit is going to be their cars racing around. And they're going to be on a computer games console racing from a virtual seat.
Maybe it'll be some 13-year-old kid racing behind the virtual.
Oh, my God. Can you imagine if they did a competition to win a ride in a car that's being driven virtually by Lewis Hamilton or Sebastian? Oh, my God. There you go. I've just invented something that would be amazing, wouldn't it?
That'd be cool.
They'd have to build a slightly wider body Formula One car for me, but I'm sure they could just accommodate me.
Sure.
Yeah, they could.
It's autonomous.
It's autonomous, yes.
Now all of the Formula One E races are on Saturdays.
Why?
Well, I guess just that's when they race because they've probably figured that's when the crowd will come out. If there's a rain date, they can move it to Sunday. I would imagine.
I think they race. They race in the rain, wouldn't they? It's not like these NASCAR.
With rain tires and
with
like
rain
that.
Tires, yeah, it's not like NASCAR. A little spit of rain, they'll pack up and go home.
But in Switzerland, it's Sunday. It's the only race on a Sunday.
They only race on a Sunday in Switzerland, really?
And well, the reason is because they're racing through the streets of Zurich. They said they can only stop all of the mass transportation, the trains and the trolleys, on a Sunday afternoon.
I thought this was going to be a gag, Brad. I thought you was going to say because of, and you was going to give me a big punchline. But that's the reason.
That's the reason.
Yeah, they have to. I've seen when they do the racing down here at Long Beach and they do racing in Monaco. I've seen what takes place. They have to literally seal up the manhole covers and they have to fill in railroad tracks. If there's a trolley bus track that runs across the street, they have to fill those in temporarily overnight, and that's because the suction under a Formula One car or a Formula E car, when it rolls over a manhole cover, it will actually pull the manhole cover out the ground. Yeah, that's the downforce that they have. So that's going to be exciting. Formula E, now a lot of people think that it's nonsense, Formula E. Some people do. But I urge you to go and watch a race. I have, and they are amazing. They aren't quiet. They are noisy cars. They sound actually like race cars.
Especially in a group, yeah.
Yeah, in a group. And they sound great. And they are blooming quick, and they look futuristic. They look like it's like the Formula One of the future, if you like. And they look futuristic, and there's some serious players in there, and serious manufacturers as well are taking part in it. Really,
there's some veterans of Formula One that are now in E, and incredible drivers.
The one thing that I'm surprised at is Elon Musk hasn't entered the team. Tesla.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe he should.
Well, because he's too busy selling flamethrowers this weekend. Did you see that?
Was he selling them again?
Yeah. Have you seen that?
I've seen it.
He's got a company called Boring. I don't know what
that means. Yes, the Boring Company, which makes tunnels.
Tunnels,
They're
right.
like boring through the earth.
For some reason, the Boring Company, they are selling $500 flamethrowers that look like a futuristic gun.
Yeah.
And he had lines of people around the block buying these flamethrowers at the weekend. And I'm thinking, what kind of a message is he sending out, this guy? What's going on? 1 minute he's putting cars in space and he's amazing the world by landing rockets back on the planet and doing stuff that, countries would do, and it's a man doing it. The second step, he's introducing the world to the electrification of cars and doing it in a knockout way, but then kind of takes everyone's crowdfunded money for his new car and hasn't delivered any cars yet, so he gets slammed for that. And then when you think you should have some good PR, he goes and sells people flamethrowers, and you're thinking, what? It's like, in this world where you've got mass shootings in schools and people blowing up things all the time, and I really think people should love each other a bit more. What good is a flamethrower to anyone other than to cause harm or damage?
Yeah, because you're not going to, if somebody goes out on a camping trip and goes, hey, I'm going to start my campfire, they're going to start a forest fire.
It's a flamethrower.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. And even the way he did that was a little bit more like a circus act, because it was, if I think it was 100,000 people buy these Boring Company hats, then I'll sell the flamethrower. And he did it in like a week and a half, sold 100,000 hats, and does he really need to sell 100,000 ball caps?
No, he doesn't. And I don't know what he's doing at the moment. He seems to be going a tiny bit off the rails as well on social media. So, Elon, I know you listen to this show. Just pull yourself back together. Go back to being the incredible, inventive, amazing man that you could possibly be. Stop selling people weapons of destruction, please.
Crazy.
Crazy.
I'll tell you what, though, if on a really bright note, is that back to that Formula E in Zurich, June is the first one ever.
Yep.
Which is just, it's right here. We're here in June.
Yep.
And wow, if I would have known about it,
Zurich in June is stunning.
I would love to go to that race. Maybe amazing. Next year, because it's just gorgeous.
Oh, it's
just
stunning.
Gorgeous.
I love Switzerland.
Oh yeah,
it's a great country, a great place to go and visit, and to have a race there through the streets by the side of the lake. Oh, it's just going to be
just
incredible.
Don't order cheese, fondue, and a Diet Coke.
Why? What happens?
I was told that it was very dangerous.
Really?
I said, what? And they go, oh, yes, you order gas and it could explode. And I'm like,
seriously?
That's what I was told.
Seriously?
Eating the cheese fondue and the Diet Coke could make my guts explode.
Must mean that my film crew must eat cheese fondue and Diet Coke every day, because they're constantly exploding around me.
Exactly.
They are. There's a lot of in my life. Right. So.
Big news here.
Big news. I mean, this is big. It made headline news around the world. Everyone went searching for it. I think it's a bit of a well. Let's read the news headline out
Well,
first.
tell me one thing before you read it.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with the Daily Star in the UK. Is that a big publication?
It's a huge newspaper. It used to be gigantic. Daily
okay.
Star. Then it's gone to, they found cheese on the moon kind of stories, and spacemen visited Earth. It's become like
National
Enquirer, is it? Or
okay, yeah, National Enquirer.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Have I said it right?
Yes.
So they've become a little bit jazz maggy. And inside, they always have topless women as well inside. So it's the newspaper it's sort of an anti-newspaper, if you like. You know, the news, there is a bit of news in there.
It's more entertainment.
It's more entertainment, yeah.
But this looks like a
It's
real
a real
headline
news story, yeah, real news story. Lewis Hamilton jailed for driving like a lunatic in snowy police chase.
Now,
Lewis Hamilton.
Now, here's my first question. This is June.
Yeah.
Where do you get snow in the UK?
It's the UK, Brad.
Okay.
What part of that don't you? No, you don't get any snow in June. They've had a cracking summer back in the UK. So let's read it. I'm going to read the extract from the newspaper. Right, it says 20-year-old driver Lewis Hamilton got sentenced to 8 months in jail for temporary ban for driving after police chase in March. So it could have been snowing in March.
Okay.
According to Daily Star. Right, so that was their headline. They even said in their headline, they put the key words in there: F1 driver Lewis Hamilton. That's what they did. So when you search for those search terms, those key words, which millions and millions of people will do on a daily basis because he's Lewis Hamilton, you're going to get this news story pop up.
It'd be like if we put something on social media and said Mike Brewer,
Yeah.
TV personality,
Yep.
automotive expert,
Yep.
the name of your network, the name of your show,
Yep.
and then it was about Mike Brewer who runs the fruit stand down the street.
Correct.
That
Right.
he has the biggest watermelon ever.
Correct. Right. That's exactly what they've done. Because get this story is broken and it's made news all around the world. Some networks have picked it up and even started to run the story without actually reading into the actual truth of the story. It's not the Lewis Hamilton. It's just a
Lewis Hamilton.
It's just a guy called Lewis Hamilton. But what they did is they said not the F1 driver. So if you put Lewis Hamilton F1 driver into a search term, it's going to pop up. So that story got traction, got a lot of people behind it. It got shared a lot because everyone thought, oh, they just read the headline.
Well, sure. I mean, if you read that Lewis Hamilton was in an 80 mile per hour police chase through the streets in the UK, you'd think, oh my gosh,
yeah,
what was this?
Yeah.
I thought he was in Saudi Arabia racing.
Can you imagine being a policeman and pulling over Lewis Hamilton and going, do you know, who do you think you are, Lewis Hamilton? Oh, actually,
exactly.
You are Lewis Hamilton. On you go, sir. Yeah, that's a naughty way, Daily Star, to try and grab some headlines. But I suppose, in a way, it works because me and you had just spoken
Everybody's talking about it.
Yeah, and we've just spoken about it, and we've just given a little plug to the Daily Star. So, yeah, it did work. Let's go back to more charming news, and news that's going to put a big smile on lots of nostalgic faces out there. I'm so happy about this. Massive Uber fan of what I'm just about to reveal. Honda, that famous motorcycle, car, lawnmower, diesel engine, truck engine, jet, Honda. That amazing company from Japan are going to reintroduce to the US in 2019. You ready? The Monkey Bike and the Super Cub. I'm so happy. The Monkey Bike is like one of the most iconic bikes ever made. It's brilliant. The Monkey Bike is going to start at $4,000. That's £3,000 for the 125cc automatic, and the Super Cub slightly cheaper. It's going to be about 2,800 quid, about $3,600 for the semi-auto. Brilliant, absolute brilliant news. I actually think once I finished here today, I might go online and see if I can order one.
They are so cool. I mean, you're right. They're icons, and they're in the colors you think of, the bright yellow, the blues, and with the red seat, and they're just so cool. And that monkey, I'm with you. The monkey was so cool. Now, what I wanted on the last show, we talked about superstitions, and you said you talked about a monkey tree.
Yeah, monkey puzzle tree.
So if you rode a monkey bike past a monkey tree, would it offset each other so then you could talk?
Possibly.
Or is it double bad?
It'd be like some kind of temporal shift in the timeline or whatever it would be. It'd be kind of weird. No, those. I'll tell you why I like those monkey bikes. Okay, I've got one, a little motor compo bike, a little fold-up Honda bike. It's amazing. It's very iconic, and I've got one of those back in the UK. And whenever we're doing live events, it's always great to take it and use it as a paddock
to
bike.
putt around, yeah.
Yeah, paddock bike to zip around in. Monkey bikes are great for that. You can throw them in the back of a little van, get them to an event where you go in, pull them out, and if you need to be somewhere like Barrett Jackson or at a car show, and you need to get from one end to the other end quickly, ring, 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 on your little monkey bike, away you go.
Well, I mean, we go down to the Balboa Car Show on
Yep.
the Newport Peninsula. On the weekends in the summer, the traffic's horrible.
Crazy.
We could just be on monkey bikes, cruise. I think Honda should give us a couple, and we'll promote them for them. We'll ride them around Newport this summer.
Yeah, why not? Honda, please do get in touch. Or if anyone out there knows Honda, or even a friendly Honda dealer.
Yes.
Has got, in fact, look, this is a genuine shouter. If you've got them coming and you want them reviewed and you want us to talk about them and put them on the podcast, reach out to us. We'd love to do
They're
it.
so cool. They're so cool.
Oh, really cool. Right, now, car marks, okay? Me, people often ask me what's my favourite car, right? What's your favourite car, Mike? What's your favourite car? What's your favourite car? I've never asked you that question. What if you could have? I mean, I know you like your Ferraris and your Jaguars and your McLarens, but if you could, if the Brad that I know and love, if you could have any car, what would you go and buy, Brad?
Probably a Porsche Cayenne convertible with wood sides. He almost spit out his coffee, everyone.
What? I beg your pardon? Squeeze me? I beg your pardon?
I'm being very facetious here because over the weekend you wouldn't believe what we saw.
No, come on. Come on, reveal.
I was coming down to the auction to meet with you, and on the freeway headed down to Newport, someone went past, and honest to goodness, we even have video of it. They had taken a brand new Porsche Cayenne.
Yeah, nice big SUV. Love it.
First of all, made it into a convertible.
I beg your pardon? What, they cut the top off?
I thought at first that it was, have you ever seen one of those Cadillacs where they have the faux convertible top?
Yes.
I thought, it's got to be a fake one. Who would even do that? Then I realized it was for real. But even worse than that is...
Hold on. Sorry. You've taken a Porsche Cayenne, right?
Yes.
A big SUV with a big structural roof. And you made it a convertible, and then you say the words, they've made it worse than that.
Hard to believe, isn't it?
Already, I'm picturing it in my head, and it sounds like it looks hideous. So what did they do that could be worse than that? Don't tell me they painted it pink.
They put faux wood siding on it.
No, they didn't.
On the hood, on the tail, and down the sides.
No, they did not, Brad.
Yes.
They did not. Don't tell me. Shut the front door.
So you know what they did, Mike? They successfully have taken the German Porsche Cayenne.
And they've turned it into a
PT Cruiser. And it looks like one.
Oh, no way. Seriously. Have you got a picture of it?
We have video of it.
Can we put the video up online?
We will put it up online.
We're going to put it up on Mike Brewer, BTW on social media now.
It's
It's
horrible.
going to go up there now. You're kidding.
Yes, it's horrible. It'll be up there by the time this show is going.
Now, please tell me this is just one bat-crazy person, some individual who's thought, you know what, I'm going to just do this because I can, and the car was trash anyway, so I'm just going to do it. Please tell me that's what...
Well, thanks to social media, I can verify and tell you that no.
What?
It's a company in Southern California that will do this lovely treatment to not only your Porsche, but they will do your Mercedes.
Shut the front door. Seriously, I'm going to be
They
sick.
listed every major SUV. They will make them into convertibles.
Slightly sick inside. So I gather their order book is full of, just none.
I don't know, Mike. It looks like they've been making them.
I swear to God, Brad, if I'm driving down the street and I see somebody driving a Cayenne convertible with wooden panels on it, I will pull them over
and make them an offer.
No, Brad, I won't make them an offer. I will pull them over on the side of the road. I will open their door and I will be sick on their laps.
Well, they'll be driving with a straitjacket, obviously. So,
Brad, is that for real?
It's for real. It's for real.
This isn't one of your made-up stories.
Could not believe.
No way.
My eyes.
How much is it? Do you know how much?
I don't know, but I will guarantee you, any of those, convertible conversions, they go through a lot of work to do that, as you know, because there's not only structural, there's government regulations, there's all kinds of things. It has to be minimum an $80,000 upgrade.
What upgrade?
And then if you want to order the downgraded wood sidings, that's got to be more. So we will put it up. You will not believe it. But Mike, that's not where the insanity stopped. unfortunately.
Oh no! Don't tell me there's more, please. I can't cope. I'm sitting here in a puddle of sweat. Genuinely, my palms have got sweaty just thinking about this blooming car.
Well, do you remember when we met up at the auction?
Yep.
I was a little flush. It was kind of the all of the color drained from my face.
Yes.
And I said, I'll meet you up there. I'm going to grab something to drink first.
Yes.
I had to get a cocktail because just blocks away from the auction, I was sitting at an intersection, and I wish it was a big, large intersection. I really wanted a photo of this because this was for real also. Maybe a mid-2000s Rolls Royce.
Oh, I like those. What, like a Phantom?
Yes, like a Phantom.
No, nice. Mid-2000 Rolls-Royce Phantom. Very expensive car. Yes. One of the most exquisite cars ever made, yes, obviously. Yeah.
Yes, and exquisitely someone had painted flames.
No.
And I'm talking bright yellow, orange, and red.
You are making that up.
I kid you not.
Seriously. Oh, my God. Somebody painted bright yellow flames on a Rolls-Royce Phantom?
Yes. They went down the side.
Oh, no way.
And I had to look twice. I went, oh, it must not be a Rolls-Royce. And then I looked again, and I went, it is.
Who was sat behind the wheel?
Well, the gentleman behind the wheel looked like he was straight out of the 80s, was rocking the full-on mullet. And
no way.
So
Patrick Swayze? Or...
I think it was maybe some internet billionaire that went crazy.
God.
So I don't know, but it was...
just what's going on, Brad, in the world? I mean, come on, guys. I like personalisation of cars. I like people that modify and do things to their cars to give them a bit of individuality. But you don't take something as precious, and it's sacrilegious to take a paintbrush or an axe or an angle grinder to a Rolls-Royce Phantom. Blimey.
I
mean, the cars are just amazing to look at anyway. They're like a cathedral on wheels. So why you would want to take an axe to it, I don't know. But flames down the side, that's crazy. And as for this Porsche, no wonder you turned up to the auction shaking like a leaf until you got your 15 gin and tonics down your throat. No wonder, Brad, because you've made me sweaty.
Now, that was within a 20-mile radius of the auction we went to.
Do you know what I'm going to do, Brad? I had this great idea before, and I used to run it on social media, but because I've been so busy, it's been neglected, so it's dropped away. But I'm going to bring it back because of what you've just told me about these two cars, and it's called Tasteless Tuesday.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So
yes.
We want people to send in, emailing your pictures, share them on social media, hashtag Tasteless Tuesday. We'll retweet and repost them, and we're going to bring that back. So we're going to bring back Tasteless Tuesday just for you.
Hey, and we'll start it with that video I told you that we took on the freeway of that horrible PT Cruiser Porsche.
I'm going to be sick.
And we'll hashtag it with your hashtag because it'll be up by the time this show comes out, and then people can find it easily that way.
Hashtag Tasteless Tuesday. We're bringing it back. There you go. Right now, Brad, I'm going to open up some showroom doors for you.
Okay.
Right, here we go. So just imagine... Not in that virtual world of the computer game. This is the real world. I'm going to open up some garage doors, and inside this garage is every car you could possibly think of that you've dreamed about in your life. You've got everything from Ferraris to Lamborghinis, Porsche, you've got Mercedes, BMW, American muscle cars. You've got that Dodge Hellcat Demon in there. You've got everything in there. But you can only select one, and I'm talking about any year, any model, any age. You can select one car and know that this is the car they're going to bury you in.
That's the car I got to drive every day for the rest of my life.
Every day. What's it going to be, Brad? Come on.
You know I'm a muscle car guy.
I know you like your muscle
cars. And I like exotics, but you know, you and I have both had Ferraris, and to drive every day, it'd be a little hard to get the groceries. It'd be a little hard when you got to pick up that part at the auto parts store.
Yeah.
You know, all that kind of stuff. And you know what I think I'd say?
Go for it.
I would say a factory steel slant nose twin. Well, I mean, 930 turbo Porsche.
There you go. Oh, you just
I love the wide body and the slant nose.
You just hit my little funny spot.
I know. Those are great cars.
Oh, my God, what a car. Do you know what, Brad? That is a fantastic choice of car. And, dare I say, I would also elbow out the way the Ferraris, the BMWs, the Mercedes, the Jensen Healey's, the Austin Healey's. I would elbow all those cars out of the way, and I too would go for a Porsche. I just think they're just incredible. So we're going to be talking about a Porsche that's coming up. Have you ever owned a 930?
Almost.
What do you
Almost.
mean? How can you almost own a 930?
And I'm going to add to my selection. I'm going to have a rough edition.
A rough?
Since we're dreaming anyway.
Since we're dreaming, yeah. So what do you mean? You can't almost own a 930. You either do or you don't.
Okay, back in the 1980s when I
Yeah.
had my skateboard company and things were going crazy and I was making lots of money, my wife saw down in Newport a wide-body Slantnose. And she said, "Oh, I saw a Porsche today with gills." Because remember how the wide bodies had those inlets there. And so we went down to the Porsche dealership. And we walked in, and there it was. It was like,
Lovely.
sitting there.
Yeah.
It was white. It had the slant nose, and it had the wide body. It was just gorgeous.
Lovely.
And
So Charlotte is now, she's excited. She's walked into the Porsche
I'm
dealer.
practically pushing her.
Yeah, you're pushing it. You're thinking, hold on a minute. My wife is letting us go and buy a car. Obviously, it's going to be called her car, but I'm going to get to drive
exactly.
it. So you're having the time of your life. This is great. Go on. Go on.
So we open the door. She sits down in it.
Yep.
The salesman comes over and he goes, "Hi, can I help you today?" And I go, "Yeah, my wife really likes this car, and she's interested." And he gets a big grin on his face. He's like, "Oh, well," he tells her all about it. And then he says, "How would you like to take it for a drive?" And she said, "Yeah, I'd like to drive it." And so he goes over to the big double doors and opens them up. They're going to get the car, that actual car out. And she goes, "Oh, well, but not this actual one." And he goes, "Oh, so you wanted to order a special color or something like that?" And she goes, "Well, I'm not sure this is the right color for me, but I want one with an automatic."
No way.
And, and bless her heart, she was serious. And I look at her and I go, "Oh, honey, they don't come in automatics." And she very politely got up, shut the door very nicely, and said, "Well, thank you very much then." The salesman, the poor guy, he had gone from, "I've sold this Slantnose 930 to wait," and he literally said to her, he goes, "Mike," he goes, "Ma'am, I would be more than happy to take you out and teach you how to drive a stick." And she said, "No, I don't want to drive a stick." And I said, "Hey, babe, I'll teach you how. Well, you'll like it. You'll like it once you drive it." She goes, "No, I like automatics." Well, that was how close I came to getting that car.
Oh, dear, Brad. That's a story you don't tell to your friends in the pub because it's so sad. You nearly had a 930 turbo. Do you remember how much it was back then?
I believe it was $80,000.
Yeah, probably more like $180,000 today.
Oh, yeah.
For that same car.
And it was just gorgeous. And
Unbelievable.
And it killed me because a friend of mine, he actually had a black one. It was black on black, factory steel nose and 930, and I just loved that car.
Yeah, amazing. See, you're just like me because I would go for a Porsche. That's what I would go for because it's a car you can use every day. They're very iconic, and I just love them. My little SC, or our little SC, me and my wife's, is the most fun thing that I've ever driven in my life. I love being in it. So there's some good news coming from Porsche, but Porsche have got lots of iconic cars, but a car that's now become incredibly iconic in terms of the collector car world, always has been, but they've really shot up in price recently. It's the 356. So the 356 Coupe is an amazing car. The convertible's now running into hundreds of thousands of dollars. People want $200,000-$300,000 for a convertible. And Porsche want to tap in to that nostalgia with their latest concept. So they brought out a new concept. It's the Speedster concept. You can see pictures online of it, and it's meant to echo the design of the early Porsche 356. The only resemblance I can see, truthfully, is the fact that it's got the same badge on it. It'll have a Stuttgart badge on the front, and the roof is the windscreen is raked at such an angle it may resemble a Speedster.
And it has that hard tonneau, but other than that, that's... Now, isn't it true that Porsche has over the years almost always ended each of the models of the 911, the 9 Series, by introducing a Speedster version of it.
Yeah, that's very good. Do you know, I don't know, but it sounds about right.
It's right at about the time that it ends. So does this mark maybe that they're going to
bring out a new model?
A new model.
Yeah, they could do. The one thing that I do like about this car is the filler cap is in the middle of the hood on the front, or bonnet, should we say, on the front of the car. And that's the one thing I do like. I love
What's
that.
the one year that used to be like that?
Well, they had the oil filler cap, didn't they?
Oil filler
it was
cap,
the oil
yes.
filler cap by the passenger door, and that was 1975. I do believe, and that was maybe people would be screaming at their podcast right now. Go,
Are you nuts?
It's a 74,
yeah,
or whatever it is. But yeah, it was that only stayed for 1 year until people complained that they got splashed, by oil, so they moved the filler cap somewhere else. But that meant now that those cars are rare and people like them. But no, Porsche are looking back. It's funny, isn't it, that every manufacturer, no matter how famous and iconic they become, every single one looks back to its history these days more than ever before, looks back to its past in an attempt to go forward, because it's the past, I think, where the true artistry lies. So they're always looking back to go forward.
Do you think it's because back in their heyday of all their design and their racing heritage that it was less restrictive?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
And you think of cars like I've just restored a Lancia Fulvia, 1972 Fulvia. Now, that car has got the most, it's like a Mercedes Pagoda, BMW 3-litre CSI. Those cars have got the most delicate C-pillar. So the C-pillar sits at the back of the roof, and they are no more than, a few inches in diameter, the C-pillars. So it almost looks like the roof is just delicately placed on top. That can't happen today. Look at C-pillars in modern cars.
Yeah.
They're a foot thick and a foot wide because of safety and crash worthiness. And that delicate nature of those roofs is what makes those cars so beautiful to look at. And that's why manufacturers look back to go forward, because it's back then when we had the purest design that wasn't conformed or wasn't made because we had to conform to some kind of safety standard. The artist could just go crazy with these plans and draw it on a piece of paper, and they made it. But these days they have to think about where they're going to put the crash impact zones, the airbags, the safety C-pillar, the roll-up cage. They have to think about all of those things. So it meant that car design, I think, has moved away from the pure design that they absolutely need and love.
And the bumpers they became part of the design, part of the car and everything, all the chrome and everything that we could never do again today.
Yeah, no, it's gone. It's all gone. All that's gone. So that was good. Porsche, me and you then. That's good. Me and you are going to be racing.
We're on the same
page.
See, we're going to find a Porsche Slantnose 930 somewhere, and we're going to be outbidding each other.
I keep telling you, I just need some dotty lady to get in touch with me and say, hey, I got something knocked in my garage that I don't know what it is. Can you come take this thing away? Give us a few grand for it, please. If you're out there, get in touch.
Or if you read about these ones where the wife who just got divorced, and she's like, I never liked that car anyway. Just come over and haul it away for $50.
Exactly. Happens to Wayne Carini all the time. Why would it happen to me?
Yeah, exactly.
I wish it would. Right, so question time. Right, good. We got some questions coming in from our audience. Keep your questions coming in. Mike Brewer at BTW, MikeBrewerBehindTheWheel.com, and on email, MikeBrewerBTW@gmail.com. Keep them coming in, and me and Brad will read them out. So this one is from?
This one's from John in the middle of America.
Ohio.
He's in Ohio.
Is he really?
Yes.
That's a good guess. John in Ohio. Tell me he wants to buy an amphi car, so he's near the, because he's in the middle of America. There's no water there, so he wants something that's tell me that.
No, what he wants to know is if you know anyone that would be interested in a Slantnose 930 turbo.
Oh, good one, Brad. Good one. Well, yes, John. Funny enough, two people right here.
No, John wants to know, when you're looking at a classic car, is mileage a big factor? Because you never seem to talk about the mileage. Is that a big point he should consider when he's looking at a classic car?
Great question. Really good question. And one that I get asked often and frequently. So a really quick explanation why mileage is and isn't important. So on a classic car, mileage is really important if the car has got a full documented service history and it's got relatively low mileage. So if the mileage on a 30, 40-year-old car is below 100,000 miles and it's got a full service history that comes along with it, then it's worth mentioning mileage because it's a nice thing that comes with the car. So you could say it's done 87,000 miles and it's been beautifully looked after that 87,000 miles. But if you're buying a car that's 30, 40 years old, doesn't really have any service history, but the engine's been rebuilt, maybe once, could be twice. A 30, 40-year-old car, engine might have been through 2 rebuilds. Mileage is totally irrelevant because lots of times engines, when they get rebuilt, they get rehoned, they get repistoned, rebored. You get new heads, new cam covers, new everything basically, and it may not be the same engine that was original with the car. So therefore, the only thing that's ticked up the miles in the car is the actual mileometer itself and not necessarily the engine of the car. So mileage, therefore, isn't so important. And I can give you a great example. I bought a Morris Traveller once that had done 180,000 miles. That's a lot of miles for a little 4-cylinder, Morris engine. But the engine had been rebuilt 5 times. So the mileage wasn't important. The only thing that had done 180,000 miles was the speedometer itself. The engine hadn't. The engine probably only done 15,000 miles because it just keeps getting rebuilt. So that's why mileage is and isn't important to discuss.
It's kind of like if you're looking at a home to buy,
Yep.
and the home was built in the 50s, but the kitchen's been redone, all new
Yep.
bathrooms
Yep.
and everything else.
Same thing.
It's the sticks that hold it up are old, but everything else is new.
It's new. There
Yeah.
you go. Same thing. There's a very famous comedy show in England called Only Fools and Horses. Amazing show. I mean, some of the funniest sketches you'll ever see on any show ever created. Still is an iconic show today. And there's a very famous scene where one of the characters walks into the pub he's a road sweeper, and he walks in holding his broom. And he walks in and he's talking to all the others in the pub, and they go, "You all right?" His name's Trigger. They say, "You all right, Trigger?" And he says, "Yep, today's been a good day. I won an award." And they said, "What you won an award for?" He went, 15 years on the service I've been, and I've always kept the same broom. And they went, "Oh, you've had that same broom for 15 years. He went, "Well, it's had 4 new heads and 15 handles, but yeah, it's the same broom." So it's the same thing.
Exactly.
It's the same thing. So there you go, Brad. You enjoyed this journey?
It was fun. How could we not? We talked about horrible tasting cars.
We did.
We talked about Porsche Speedsters.
Virtual cars.
Virtual cars. Forza.
We're waiting for them to send us.
If
the
this show
game.
works out, Mike, we'll get invited to the Forza party.
Yep.
We'll get a game console.
Yep.
And we'll be riding Hondas for the summer.
And some lady is going to phone us up and tell us she's got a Slantnose Porsche in her garage.
Oh, I was leaving that one out because when she emails, I was going to get the email
Yeah,
first.
Of course you will. Of course you will. Listen, everyone, thank you very much for coming along for the ride with me and Brad. We absolutely love it and we're thrilled by it. Please make sure that you go on to iTunes and please subscribe. It's very important you subscribe to this podcast. You'll be notified when the next one is released. Don't forget to give us a 5-star rating. Don't forget also to make sure that you give us a review. And for the second week running, me and Brad, we're going to dig out those reviews and we're going to look who's saying the nicest things about us and we're going to throw them into a hat and we're going to call out a name and you will win a free pair of Hunziker shoes. That's Hunziker design shoes. They Hunziker. That's Nicholas Hunziker. He makes these amazing shoes and we give you a set of shoes courtesy of Nicholas and you'll be thrilled with those. They're amazing. So there you go. And make sure you keep in touch with us on social media. I'll be at Mike Brewer BTW on Twitter. And Brad, where can they find you?
They can find me on all forms of social media like Twitter and Facebook at Brad Fanshaw. But on that little old thing that you call Instagram, go ahead and look for me at Bond Speed Brad because that's where you're going to find me there, Mike.
We're just having a picture taken. How nice is
Yeah.
that? So I had to pause. There was an awkward pause. But listen, thank you for coming along for the ride. Next week's show is going to be an awesome one as well. It's going to be packed with stuff. And hopefully next week's show is going to be from, you ready? You ready? You ready? It's going to be from behind the wheel of a McLaren 720S.
Wait, I wasn't quite ready.
The whole show is going to be delivered at speed from behind the wheel of the McLaren 720S. Me and Brad are going to be talking about supercars, the rise of supercars, why every make and model out there, literally every brand, Ford, with the GT, everyone is now putting a supercar. When we thought the world of supercars was on the demise, because it's now filthy to own, a gas-guzzling whatever car, actually it's the opposite. Every manufacturer now puts a supercar in its brand. It has to.
More performance cars than ever
before.
And doing a show from a McLaren 720S.
It's going to be great.
That's going to be.
It's going to be great.
Incredible.
Do you know what's going to happen? We're going to get there before we've even left.
Work
that one out.
We're going to be behind the wheel.
We are going to be behind the wheel, and we look forward to seeing you all next week. Thanks, Brad.
Thank you, Mike.
All right, see you all soon. Ta-la.
Bye-bye. This show brought to you in part by Bond Speed Wheels. Bond Speed Wheels, machined in America for cars, trucks, hot rods, and exotics. We make wheels for your lifestyle. Find us at bondspeedwheels.com.
If you need to get in touch with me or Brad, you can do. Ask us any question you like about motoring issues or a motoring-related thing. If you've got something that you want to do to your car and you don't know how to do it, you want to sell your car, you want to advertise your car, you want to buy a car and you need some advice, then please reach out to us. You can find us on Twitter at Mike Brewer BTW. See what we did there? Genius.
Is that for behind the wheel?
It is. There you go.
Wow, how did you come up with that?
It's so good, isn't it? And we'll see you all next week.
This has been a Bond Speed Media production from Circle B Studios. If you like this show, also listen to Shift and Steer, Man Seeks Adventure, and Dixon's Wild Ride. You can subscribe to them on iTunes or visit their websites. If you'd like to reach Bond Speed Media, you can do so at bondspeedmedia@gmail.com.